I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the week of January 16th to January 22nd.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns. World burns.
Last week we asked you to tell us what was the line that got you to subscribe, and we got some great responses. So I want to read a couple
I want to hear
those.
these. I haven't heard most of these. It's my first time.
All right. Lord of D280 and Paul LaMarshall both said how Sammy got her nickname episode got them to subscribe.
Sammy's bringing in the big bucks
Good
for
old
us.
Sammy Flaps and Folds.
Sammy Flaps and Folds. Cha-ching. Making us rich.
Xavier Shea said we'll be sitting on the beach earning 20%. That's when I hit the race to the subscribe button. Rachel Brewster, 2 bums, 1 tent, convinced me to subscribe.
Sammy Flaps and Folds. So far, she's making the big bucks. We should have her take over the show.
General Bounce said the line that made me subscribe was on Dumpster Fire 26. Chaz is like Burning Man for pores.
That is a great one.
Random Salmon said I subscribed immediately when I heard Touch My Bells and Buttons. LOL.
Ooh.
Nat D said I subscribed immediately when in the one episode you twerked with an inflatable green alien.
We'll be doing that when I'm more pregnant.
Smithereen said I subscribed because women.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think there are a lot of women subscribers. We love the female audience that comes through Dumpster
We
Fire.
do.
They're freaking badasses.
Huckleberry Harrison said the term winky got me to subscribe. Fox Montage said there's a hole in the castle where the brother once stood. Somebody's making money. This line earned my subscribe.
I love this.
And then Mo45673 said what made me subscribe was how Bridget uses the terms pores, olds, fats as if everyone has been doing it since Shakespeare.
Have you noticed, though, that everyone is doing it now?
Yeah.
I feel like we really started that trend.
Started that. There were others. These were some of my favorites. I couldn't get them all, but thank you for responding.
Yeah,
So,
thank you guys. We'll think of another fun thing. I like doing this with the audience.
We also just keep sending us these because these are hilarious to us. Whatever made you subscribe.
Yeah, if you join the community and support us, which you should because it's the only way we keep the lights on around here. I do like to hear what even when we do the live stream, sometimes we'll do a live stream and I ask people how they even just found the place. And that's always fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's true. And then sometimes any just randomly funny comment, I tend to screenshot, so we'll try and if you have something incredibly witty or funny, maybe it'll make it onto the show at some point.
Our audience is very funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Truly.
I'm like, we need to do a Dumpster Fire writer's room where we open it up and let our audience write jokes.
Boy. Oh, God.
I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting us. And even if you're poor and you can't pony up to help support your favorite independent creators, we appreciate that you even view us and share us with all your other like-minded, messed up friends who don't care and are nihilistic Gen Xers.
Yes.
Our biggest audience. As a matter of fact.
Yes. Here we go. Old in chief. Biden's inaugural committee will mark the first anniversary in office by blanketing airwaves with a Tom Hanks narrated video promoting a recovering, resilient America.
America is the home of the brave. It's why we keep getting up. More jobs were created in 2021 than in any year in the last 80 years. We are stronger than we were a year ago today.
It's only been a year. When I read that, I was like, how has it only been a year? It feels like it's been more than a year.
Insane.
And it feels weird to me because Trump years were long but kind of short because they were so chaotic. It was like growing up in my dysfunctional family. You're like, wow, this seems like it's going on forever, but oh, how time flies when you're just in constant chaos. I don't know if it's like dog years with him, where every year is like 7 years, because that's how it feels. Or if it's just the nature of the fact that we thought the pandemic would slow down, it's still going on, so it feels like a longer year.
We may be entering year 3 of a pandemic none of us wanted or expected, but we're moving.
Or if it's just the fact that things are like really bad for only being in power for a year.
Yeah.
All the like empty grocery store shelves and the and the like gas prices going up, it does feel to me like there's more real world consequences than for the average person.
For the average person, certainly. I would say some of that is cumulative. You can't just like be like, oh, it's been a year and look at all this shit that's fallen apart. Like that's a cumulative effect of multiple years of
But it is a government
pandemic.
that wants to like have more control and power than as much as Trump was a nightmare psychologically. I do think that he had a more hands-off approach and let the states kind of do their own thing more than trying to federalize things like mandates. Like that all came
like
through
mandates
Biden.
and stuff. But I feel like the like supply chains, that's cumulative.
Right.
Like that's the empty grocery store shelves. That's like 2 years of a pandemic with all these issues going on.
Well, we know where everything's ending up.
Yeah, we certainly do. And
The
we'll
train
cover
tracks
it.
of Los Angeles. Man, Tom Hanks is looking old.
Yeah.
This was a Simpsons again. Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks. The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
He's looking very old. Maybe it's because he got the COVID.
Yeah, he got early
Could
COVID.
be.
His dick is no longer big.
Hey-oh, I see what you did there.
That's right. I'm making that joke. Throw rocks at me.
He lost 1.5 inches.
Yeah, he just looks kind of old. I mean, that is the Simpsons thing. The United States government has no credibility, so we're going to borrow some of Tom Hanks. It seems to be like maybe the Simpsons is writing the simulation. They wrote it like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Gonna have
Simpsons
to
and South Park.
Call up Matt Groening and be like, what's going on, buddy?
How do you know, Matt? What do you know?
Tell us your secrets.
All right, and then we have a Gallup poll found a 9-point surge in party preference towards Republicans. This is the largest swing in the poll's 30-year history. Wow.
You don't say, huh?
Gee, I wonder why. School closures, Latinx, boys and girls aren't different. Like, I could go on and on. Empty, let's go, Brandon. Empty grocery store shelves, gas prices, inflation, defunding the police, cities in disarray. Like, all of our major cities feel like Gotham right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff is having real world effects on voters as well. Everyone's being red-pilled. I want to know, this is what I want to know because I'm really interested in this. And if you have a long-winded answer, please feel free to email me at iampoliticallyhomeless@gmail.com. But I want to know if you've been red-pilled at any point over the course of the last 5 to 6 years or even in the past year. What was the moment that red-pilled you?
Will you define red-pilled as
Red-pilled is,
using
I hate the way it's defined in that they say it's like people who were left-wing who suddenly woke up and now they're right-wing. I think it's more people who identified heavily with the left and now find themselves politically homeless and that they don't really identify with the left or the right, but they don't find themselves in the same place ideologically as many of their leftist friends and brethren.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm interested to hear because I do think this is a large part of our audience. And, you know, you get called like a reactionary liberal and all this stuff, but there is something to it. And I think you're seeing this in this 9-point drift. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Is people just becoming politically homeless and going, oh, I thought we were on the same page, but I don't agree with lockdowns. Or I think the like July riots and protests red-pilled a lot of people. I think the COVID school closures and that debate red-pilled lots of people. I think like a lot of people have cited Kavanaugh as a moment. A lot of people have cited the Covington kit. It's just interesting to me what is the moment that you suddenly were like, hey, maybe I'm not seeing this clearly. But yeah, it's not surprising to me. Like, this is the least surprising poll I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's supposed to be a freaking bloodbath in 2022.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
boy.
That's starting right now. It starts
It
2022.
starts. Yep. And now it starts. But that's why they're, like, I think that's why they're prancing around with all this voting rights stuff, which I don't understand.
Probably
Or care
because
about.
they know it's gonna totally swing the other way, and then the left's gonna be calling election fraud like the right did.
It's never going to be, it's going to be contested elections from here on out. This is how democracy dies. Democracy dies in the duopoly.
Everything is racist, especially Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, good old cocaine Mitch.
Mitch McConnell says black people vote just as much as Americans.
You look at the statistics, African-American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans.
Oh, Mitch. Oh, Mitch. You can take the boy out of Kentucky, but you can't take the Kentucky out of the boy.
Oh, boy.
Other than you watching it to Kentucky are not racist like Mitch McConnell. Well, I think this is how you know, like, he's on his last term. But this is what I mean by I don't want the olds running the country anymore. And by olds, I mean people who were alive when black people and white people couldn't drink out of the same water fountain. Shouldn't be in power anymore.
Agree.
Like, I feel like that should just be a line that we have.
Point.
Yeah. Maybe it's on age. Maybe it's like, were you alive when this f***ed up thing was loud? And what did you grow up with it? Okay. Maybe it's time for you to retire. I was joking like, oh, I bet that's keeping him up at night because it would keep me up. It was like when I found out I mispronounced Waukesha. I still can't. Yeah. Waukesha.
Waukesha or something.
I still can't pronounce it because I'm an idiot. But I found out I mispronounced it, and then I felt so bad because there were so many people died, and it like kept me up all night and all morning, and I felt horrible, and I was crying. Granted, I was pregnant, but I still, that kind of stuff like eats at me. And I was like, I bet he's just not sleeping. And then I was like, no, he's probably sleeping like a fucking baby.
Yeah, right.
He's like, yeah, black people are voting more than Americans.
Like, I don't see what the problem is here.
Where's the lie?
What's the problem with what I said? He doesn't even know he said anything wrong.
Oh, God.
I don't want these olds running the country anymore.
California. LA freight train looting is out of control. It's been going on for months, but apparently Gavin Newsome just learned about it.
It's been going on for years, actually, I think. It looks like freaking Mumbai, these pictures.
Oh, yeah. It's
when you
bad.
see them. When Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor, you could ride a dirt bike through the rivers of Los Angeles. Gavin Newsome is making Arnold look like JFK. And Gavin Newsome's whole statement is infuriating just from the beginning to the end. The guy is like a parody of a politician at this point. I don't understand how anyone can take him seriously and listen to him. He said it looks like a third world country. Have you driven around Los Angeles at all in the last 2 years? My friend just came down here and she said it was unrecognizable from when she lived here. And it is.
I see what you see. I see what you've been covering. I see what everybody's seeing. Asking myself, what the hell is going on? We look like a third world country.
But how are you saying like, oh my God, it looks like a third world country? Yeah, no shit, bro. Why do you think you got recalled? Like, what do you think is going on in your state that you're that detached? I know you're just chilling on your vineyard or whatever the fuck you're doing, but have some sense that you are completely tone deaf and completely disconnected. And he's wearing this California hat that looks like they just messed it all up. He probably got that shit off the tracks when he was walking around.
He borrowed it from a bum.
It's just, though his whole statement, the way he was like, and within 48 hours, I had to like deal with the lawyers, but we came down here with the crew. It's like you make it sound like this just happened 48 hours ago.
Yeah, it's been going on way longer than 48 hours. You just realized that because it got attention and went viral because the mainstream media, Joe Rogan, posted about it.
It's a stunning sight. Thousands of packages stolen right off of trains. If your UPS or Amazon package hasn't arrived, it might be somewhere here in this mess, discarded on a Union Pacific Railroad track near downtown LA.
Yeah, and all of a sudden everyone was paying attention to it.
Yeah. But he's the bureaucracy that he's complaining about. Like, he's like, oh, this bureaucracy. You're the governor.
How did this happen?
What do you think you're YouTube reporter Gavin Newsome standing up there just like, oh, I'm just this independent reporter checking in on the bureaucracy that's getting in the way of the bureaucracy.
Lawyers say, well, hold on, it's not your property. You get injured. I mean, every conceivable thing that makes you frustrated and crazy about government bureaucracy was at play.
You are the fucking man, dude. What are you doing?
Stay in your lane, Gavin Newsome. We're the YouTube reporter, not reporters.
I'm sure he's going to come out and present it as like a solution to the unhoused population. Don't see these boxes as a problem. See them as a solution to our housing problem in Los Angeles. And then he blamed it like, oh, other networks were weaponizing it, this story. Yeah, we're happy to weaponize it, you piece of shit. We've been weaponizing it here in this undisclosed location for freaking years. You ignoring the plight of your citizens in your own backyard. And we'll more on this later too.
I know, and he's just like complaining about, oh, some news sources were covering it with integrity and some news sources were happy to weaponize it. But he was just like complaining over the coverage of it rather than the problem that's been going on for over a year in his backyard.
Stop putting mousse in your hair and go pick up more trash, you douchebag.
You know what LA is? LA is a shithole country.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why there are empty shelves, America, here's an image for you. This might explain it. If you're wondering where your Amazon package is,
it's on the tracks.
It's on the tracks of LA.
Get wrecked, China.
Get wrecked, China.
Athletes are warned against speaking up on human rights at Beijing's Olympic Games.
Why are the athletes even going?
I don't know.
I don't understand. They can't have their phones. They're taking away their cell phones and giving them burner phones. You know you're going to a f***ed up country when they're like, hey, leave your phone here and we're going to give you a burner phone because we can't trust that the government won't access all of your sensitive information when you're over there.
Yeah, and the whole article, they were like, we just can't guarantee, like, the laws are... Yeah, we can't guarantee your safety from the Chinese government.
That's like living in California.
China has also banned cheering at the Olympics in an effort to have zero COVID outbreaks.
This reminds me of the scream inside your heart.
Yeah.
Where it was like you weren't allowed to scream. You had to scream inside your heart when you were on a roller coaster.
And those are early COVID
Cheer
days.
inside your heart. What is the point? These Olympics sound horrible. We shouldn't even be watching them. Jared's like, we're not watching the Olympics in this house. We're boycotting them.
Oh, Jared's laying down the law, eh?
Well, because I think it
sounds like China.
I mean, I don't really want to watch them anyway because I think it's bullshit. And we have like the diplomatic boycott of them. It would be so hard because as an athlete, I have a lot of compassion. You train so hard. And 8 years is a big deal when you're an athlete. You're not in your prime 8 years from when, you know, you might have been ready at that 4-year mark. Mm-hmm. I get why you would want to go in spite of the atrocities and the human rights violations and the fact that you might get disappeared if you say China is a bully. But it does seem like just kind of a shit show.
Important stories we're ignoring because we don't care.
This entire week, I've been trying to read news stories, and I feel like my favorite episode of South Park, in which they're just like, don't care, don't care, don't care.
We don't care. Dude, we don't care. We don't care.
It's the episode about Towley, yeah.
Biden says during a press conference that a minor incursion by Russia into the Ukraine would incur a soft response from the U.S.
It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc.
I mean, I should care, but I don't care.
We don't care.
Just like Trump, Biden questions if the midterm elections will be legit.
We don't care.
I want to care. What's wrong with me?
Congressman Dan Crenshaw was booed after telling a young girl not to question his faith at a speaking engagement.
I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Do not question my authority. Don't care.
Don't care.
I don't care because I can't do anything about it.
Nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay?
Very callous and cruel and somewhat truthful statement to make.
Oh, God, don't care.
Yeah.
Because we care. We can say like, oh, the Uyghurs, but like still I'm probably head to toe and from China.
And then there's Jen Psaki.
My advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita.
Don't care, don't care, don't care.
Somebody on Twitter was like, well, say what you will, but she knows her audience. Like, it is true. It's so detached from the working class to say something like that. Like, hey, it's the weekend. You know, we get back and we fight on Monday. Like, people don't fucking work on the weekends. Do you know anyone who has to work on the weekend? Because I know lots of people who do. And also the idea that most Americans aren't living hand to mouth to a certain extent. You know, like they have all this disposable income that they can go use with the rising cost of inflation from your stupid administration. Just printing money, money, printer goes burr.
We don't care.
That I do care about.
Apparently. She's shown she cares.
Like, subscribe, and comment. Touch my bells and buttons. Make sure you tell us in the comments what's your moment of red pilling or blue pilling. I'll take it coming from the other way. I just want to know your moment of awakening.
The making of a eunuch. Prince Harry cannot return to the UK even after offering to pay for his own police protection. The Royal Home Office said no, he couldn't pay and that he wouldn't get protection.
What did he think would happen when he went on Oprah and spilled the tea about all the royals, like asking about whatever color the baby was going to be? Did he think that they would just be like, oh, come back. This is the fucking queen. She puts the crown before everything. Family included. And he should be worried about his safety. Look what happened to his mom.
Look what happens to his balls.
And his balls. Yeah, he's like, I'll take anything, even the quiet guys. The ones that don't talk or move. Give me any kind of protection.
I hate him.
I don't hate him. I just feel bad for him.
Oh, he's a privileged twat.
Yes. All right.
He is, really.
Patriarchy so crafty. The New York Times introduced the word menstruator into its copy. Oh my God.
I feel like that, like David at the dentist, where he just does the like primal scream.
Yeah,
every time.
They're talking. It was an article about like better like solutions for menstruation rather than like tampons or pads or whatever.
I
like
hope they weren't
sustainable
promoting
green.
that, like Diva Cup.
Probably are, but they're like still.
Yeah.
They said still the average menstruator can use thousands of tampons in their lifetime, and then they used it again too.
Menstruator. It sounds like a car part. It sounds like you're like, my car's falling apart. It needs new brake pads. I need some new rotors, and I need some new menstruators. But the supply chain's got it all backed up, so you can't get menstruators for ages around here. Those menstruators are just stuck on the boats outside of Los Angeles. Have you heard? It's that you can get a menstruator used, but it's not as good quality, and it might break down.
The flaps and folds are a little wrinkly, but
They're a little rusty.
It's so like, I just hate all of this. It feels so dehumanizing.
It's so derogatory. F you.
I know. Fuck you. It is. Happy birthing person day. Like, that's what Happy Mother's Day is going to be soon.
I know.
My menstruator-in-law is driving me crazy. It's so dehumanizing. It's like reducing women to their biological functions while not even being able to define what a woman is and saying that they aren't the product of their biological functions.
Right.
It makes me fucking insane.
Right. And somehow this is consistently happening to women in these articles, but not men.
No. And God bless Matt Walsh, who I will fight with constantly online because, my God, that man has some of the worst takes ever known to humankind. But he did go on Dr. Phil in this past week and was talking to some non-binary activists who are on the show. And to his credit, pushed them to define what a woman is. And they could not say it.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right? So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
people who identify as a woman.
They were like, oh, it's whatever you feel like. And they were using the word women to define women, and they could not define what it is. And he said, you're just trying to take this and try and wear it like a costume. You can't take womanhood. Now, I have a lot of issues with the idea of a bunch of fucking men sitting around on stage defining what women are, like, or non-binaries, whatever. Like, that to me is hilarious, and many women have been pushing back against this and have been silenced for saying the exact same thing that Matt said. So again, patriarchy, so fucking crafty. It takes a man to say these things
and have people listen
and not get banned. My friend Megan Murphy got banned for saying the exact same thing. Jesus. Permanently. Twitter.
Christ.
Yeah.
What the
It's so annoying. And so God bless him he did a good job, like, pushing back, but it's comical that you can't define what a woman is.
Well, and then we have Survivor competitors reveal players with vaginas were given an extra pair of underwear on season 41.
When did women become a dirty word?
I don't know.
How is this feminism? How have women been tricked into the idea that you can't say women? I mean, it is mind-boggling to me to watch men call themselves women and basically walk back like decades of women's rights work that actual biological women have fought for.
I know.
Yeah.
In just like eroding it in just like it was never real.
Like,
it's
fought
like
for, died for, went to jail for, like, went on hunger strike for, like, it
lost
was
their kids.
Yeah, like it was fucked up.
It's just evaporating. Like, it was all just a magical, just
dream.
Mirage. Yeah, like those years of women's rights underneath. The thing too in this clip, I thought it was a journalist who wrote this, but it's an actual direct quote from one of the contestants.
Female contestants
who's tripping over herself not to call them women.
There's a difference between like equity and equality, right? Like, equity is giving everybody the same thing, and then equality is giving people what they need based on their needs, right? And so if you're someone with a vagina, like, you need different things than someone with a penis. So like, it makes sense to give us like, 2 pairs of underwear because we got stuff going on down there.
You just be like, yeah, the women were given an extra set of underwear because our vajayjays are a little more
active.
Yeah.
Like a volcano.
Was there
like a volcano down there?
What I want to know. Ew.
She can't see her vagina anymore. She has no idea what it's doing.
Volcanic menstruators.
But I think people are just so petrified of being canceled for saying women, which is in and of itself ridiculous. Even if there was a trans person in that show, the fact that, again, we're centering the male and their feelings at the expense of the experience of billions of women on the planet is fucking asinine.
I'm so over it. I cannot.
I mean, but what made me happy from this, though, was seeing the comments and everybody commenting, like, women. You mean women? Women? You mean women?
No, I get tagged, like, women. It's so great how many times a day people are... It's going to be the thing. Us being like, women! Women! Just say women! Every time I read it, menstruators, birthing people, like, are you kidding me?
Persons with vaginas.
Players with vaginas.
Players with vaginas.
Child birthing.
Oh, God. I mean, they're trying to get rid of the word mother. It's just...
It's nonsense. It's sheer
nonsense. It's nonsense. We should not be having these conversations. It is fucking nonsense. Women! Women!
Capitalism always wins.
Oh, boy.
Eminem characters redesigned for a more dynamic, progressive world.
Men everywhere can no longer masturbate to the green Eminem anymore. They got rid of her heels.
Her go-go boots.
Her go-go boots. Yeah, this was the weirdest, stupidest. I hate even giving it attention. I know that's 90% of the reason they even did this stupid shit. There was so many people covering this, and I'm like, people went to journalism school, and everybody was making this joke. Like, people became journalists and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars going to school to write this story about how Eminem wants to be more diverse. Anthropomorphized candy.
Multicolored.
They're candy. You know they're not people, right? They don't need to be diverse. Like, they're already multicolored candies that we pop in our mouths and eat. So we're okay with eating these anthropomorphized things, but not with them wearing heels. Like, it's again, crazy town.
Right. And they wanted to turn the green M&M into more of a girl boss or something.
Yeah, people were saying they de-yassified her.
Why can't she be a girl boss in go-go boots? What the is wrong with that?
Can't be sexy and smart. You've got to put her in sneakers.
Well, the freaking Babylon Bee had the best take on this ever.
It was hilarious.
Eminem's introduces new trans character who identifies as a Skittle.
That's a great joke.
Siri, please take my life. A robot lets a passerby take a selfie.
Smile. Can I ask you what your name is?
My name is Amica. What is yours?
My name's Alexa. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks so much.
The thing I love about this, other than how creepy that robot is that the woman who's doing this, his name is Alexa.
I know.
And I was like, plot twist, she's the upgraded version of Alexa. This is actually two robots talking. And one of the robots is there just to make the other one look like a robot. That's my conspiracy theory.
I love it.
That's a good one.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Tim Dillon. I mean, Louis Anderson. R.I.P. R.I.P. Meatloaf. And R.I.P. Thich Nhat Hanh. A lot of people died.
Yep.
There was a really good dark joke about how the Meatloaf ran out and then Louis Anderson died.
Yeah.
Infolds Wars with Sammy Flaps and Folds.
Our lovely World Economic Forum says that the Great Reset, which we've been talking about forever, is their proposal now for the COVID economic recovery.
Oh, my God.
Saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Phetasy live stream yesterday said being a conspiracy theorist is just being a futurist.
Right? I'm tired of being right all the time.
It is true.
I know.
It
Where are
is.
my accolades?
Sam, you get plenty of accolades.
I swear to God, if there really is a tunnel under the Getty, I give up.
There is an entire
We'll go
audience
digging, Maggie.
devoted to Sam.
And during the World Economic Forum's Great Narrative Conference, one of the speakers talked about how the good news is that the elite all across the world trust each other, and that the bad news is that the majority of the people don't trust the elite.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more. The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less.
My friend Tyler Carden, he tweeted, the good news here is actually the bad news, and the bad news is the good news.
Yeah. For real.
Like, oh, these plebs aren't listening to us? What is going on? Please understand from our yacht that we don't understand why these plebs aren't more cooperative with our collective desires for their well-being. It's so insane that people say this stuff out loud.
They should really just go take a kickboxing class and have a margarita.
Why aren't these plebs just, drinking and kickboxing their way to some kind of happiness in their life?
I don't understand it.
Don't they know that we know what's best for them? Well, we dine on steak and fly in private jets. They will be eating bugs and living in pods and owning nothing and being happy. This is what's best for everyone, particularly us, the elites. I don't see what's so confusing here. Why are they so angry, Klaus? I don't understand these plebs. It's so bad. I hope we're going to see a revolution. I just don't know, how it's going to turn out. It never turns out well for the plebs.
It'll be the elites escaping on their yachts because they're not taxed
and all going
now.
to New Zealand.
Not if we have a yacht. We'll take every pleb we can.
Donate to Phetasy.com so we can get a yacht. And
we
help
will get
us
an army of yachts. For
rise
the
up
plebs.
to
An
defeat
army of
the
yachts.
elites.
A yacht for everyone. That's what we want.
Oprah gave everyone a car. We want to give everyone a yacht.
So give us money so we can get everyone a yacht.
Help us defeat the elites.
Yeah, start a GoFundMe, buy every pleb a yacht.
A yacht for every pleb. I mean, that should really be a t-shirt.
Ghost Rock, can you get on that?
Campaign promise. A yacht for every pleb.
I'm running on that platform. I will give a yacht to every pleb and their family.
Dumpster diving.
What's next in the dumpster? Somebody watched that multiple times.
Yes,
last
someone
week.
someone in the comments said, I watched that Bridget pulling things out of the dumpster like 4 times. Comedy gold.
Don't say those improv classes were ever a waste.
Happy Hunting 1000 said that. People will keep polluting after they die.
I mean, it was like, we need a greener way to die. I'm like, why don't we just feed the corpses to the bugs that we're inevitably going to feed to the plebs? Solution solved. Problem solved. I am a candidate with solutions.
Phetasy for
feed the plebs to the bugs. Feed the bugs to the plebs.
I'm all for cremation, man. That's the way I want to do it.
I was watching Troy last night, and I want to be put on a pyre and lit on fire.
Of course you do.
Preferably on her yacht that's been pushed out into the water, and we just shoot flaming arrows into it like a Viking pyre.
Yes, exactly. Put me in a canoe in the LA River and start it on fire.
Italian Senate Zoom meeting hijacked by Final Fantasy hentai.
Ai risultati della ricerca medica e scientifica, insieme alla loro...
I mean, what else is there to say here?
Oh, boy. A bunch of Italian dignitaries realized they had a fetish they didn't even know they had. How do we know that it wasn't just one of them accidentally sharing their Zoom screen like a
wrong screen?
Yeah, like a tubin.
Like a Tubin moment.
Mm-hmm. Where they're just caught. Like, oh, whoops, I got hacked.
Breaking Bridget.
I will try to keep this quick. In the course of about a week's time, in many cases, in the course of 3 days, Brianna Kupfer, Sandra Shells, Michelle Go, and Crystal Bayron-Neves were all senselessly murdered in New York and Los Angeles. One was a 70-year-old nurse. She was killed at a bus stop. That was Sandra. Brianna was senselessly killed, 24 years old, working in a furniture shop in Los Angeles. Michelle Go was pushed in front of a train in New York City, senseless by a crazy person with mental illness. Crystal was a 19-year-old working a late shift at Burger King who wanted to be a nurse and was from Puerto Rico in New York City. And this is what I've been screaming for many, many years here on Dumpster Fire, is that in big cities, it's become apparently clear that when you scapegoat police, you justify criminals' behaviors, and you prioritize them over the safety of your citizens, that the most vulnerable populations are the people who are going to suffer. And that's not even just the poor who disproportionately suffer in any kind of situation, but also just women and elderly and children. They're the ones who are going to suffer. Women are disproportionately going to suffer from letting all these criminals go free, not treating the mental illness crisis that we have. All of these people have long rap sheets. They all should not have been on the streets. They are all proven to be dangerous to themselves and people around them. And all of this could have been prevented, and yet now we have just senseless loss of life. And it's tragic, and it makes me crazy because I don't feel safe. I don't feel like my government gives a shit about me. They prioritized all of this, homelessness, criminals, over the safety of their own citizens. And this is happening in big cities everywhere. Not to mention the fact that when you look at the numbers of just citizens being killed in big cities like Chicago, I mean, these are 4 people, and they're just the 4 that kind of rose to the top in that 1 week news cycle. This is happening all the time. Or instances where people aren't getting killed, like the woman who got mugged with her baby. There was a grandma down in Venice who got attacked by a homeless person and attacked a 9-month-old infant and tried to take the 9-month-old infant. Like, this is happening all the time in these cities, and it is like Gotham, and it's horrific. At what point you see these people at these vigils, and I'm like, at what point do you recognize that you're voting for this stuff? Our leaders are making these decisions, but you are voting for them. Citizens in these, I voted to recall Gascon in LA. You have to hold these people accountable. They don't just get to march out when somebody gets murdered after years of people saying, hey, we don't feel safe. Why aren't you doing anything? And say, oh, we're going to get tough on crime suddenly after you've been supporting defunding the police. Imagine spending the money that you spend paying taxes to have your daughter freaking murdered while she's at work.
Yeah.
Like
in the afternoon.
Yeah. It is outrageous. Imagine your 19-year-old daughter trying to make ends meet. She's trying to save money to go to nursing school, and he robs her, takes $100, and then shoots her anyway. The other thing about this that drives me crazy is you talk about like the radical, we had that crazy killer in Denver who went on a rampage recently as well, killed a bunch of women. And he was allegedly radicalized by kind of like the manosphere on the right wing. And everybody on the left was like, oh, he was radicalized by the media, and the media needs to hold itself accountable, and right-wing media is instilling all these grievances. Well, the guy who killed Crystal was screaming, where are my reparations, when he was being arrested. And so there's grievances being fed to populations everywhere, and there's blood on the fucking media's hands for creating this kind of division and anger and rage that is existent in our population. Stop feeding people grievance and rage. People are dying and are going to continue dying because of this. This shit makes me crazy.
Yeah.
I do care about this.
Yeah. It makes me want to cry. I mean, just listening to you talk about it, I was like getting choked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. The only job of government is to protect its citizens. What do we fucking need you for, if not that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you for anything else. Make nice roads. Make sure I don't get murdered. Like, that's what else are you supposed? That's like basic bottom line shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even do that. So what good are you? And here in California and New York, we're paying higher taxes than anyone so that we can live in constant fear.
Right.
Yeah.
And our criminals and our homeless population, which, by the way, I don't think they should be dehumanized and, like, not taken care of, but they don't get to... These are people who have made choices and have proven that they can't control their own behavior, should be prioritized over the citizens who are just trying to, like, live their f***ing life. My entire neighborhood is building walls, which I find hilariously ironic. And the people who are voting for this are building walls
around their houses.
Put it together, people.
Yeah.
You're voting for this shit. Stop voting for it. Wake the f*** up. I hope people are waking up. This doesn't mean I want like some crazy Gestapo law and order society, but a little bit. I shouldn't every single walk I go on. I have to bring mace. I don't wear headphones anymore. I don't feel safe. Every single time I have to divert because there's someone crazy that I need to avoid. Like, this is a regular part of my day, and it shouldn't be normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we shouldn't be allowing these criminals who've made so many like Brianna's killer.
11
times. Arrests.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The last one, he was let off on like $1,000 bail, and he shot a flare gun into a car with a child in it.
And these are people who have no remorse. Like, that guy went and bought some fucking candy at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
They're not,
they don't care.
No. Yeah, but they're not, it's like mentally illness.
Yeah,
right.
they're not there.
You can't have mentally ill criminals running loose in your cities.
Yeah.
Dangerous individuals.
And that on top of somebody like Gascon, who says that assault with a deadly weapon is not considered assault, is like, also f***ed up.
That's like someone was telling me, and I have to fact check this, but armed robbery in New York is now a misdemeanor? Are you kidding me? If there's no consequences for this stuff, it is going to be like Gotham.
There's no deterrent.
Yeah. You can't, it's not fair to people who are law-abiding citizens. You can't go to parks anymore. Like, this is insanity. Again, it's insanity.
Mm-hmm. Like, you have to take the red and the blue out of the equation and start voting with common sense.
But stop voting for people who are willing to prioritize criminals over you.
Yeah.
Because that's nonsense. And rest in peace to all those women, because it's tragic. I've been crying about it for like 2 weeks. We can't even.
Yeah.
Women are going to pay for this. Anyways, the internet is glorious.
Another one bites the dust, and another one. Mr. Officer, still love it like that.
Phetasy news.
On Watkins Welcome, we had the OG Kathleen Madigan. Hilarious, fun episode. Just, if you need some levity after this episode, I suggest listening to the episode with Kathleen because, my God, she is funny. And if you have an opportunity to see her on tour, go see her. Dumpster Fire is a podcast. Subscribe wherever podcasts are available. Give a round of applause wherever you are to all of the people who make this possible. Luna for the makeup. Thank you for making me beautiful. Thank you to our writers, editors, and researchers, Better Phetasy, Andy Chandler, Dave Yates, and Matt Monroe. Thank you, Zen Pro Audio, for the mic. Go to zenproaudio.com for all of your audio needs. And thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Bridget.
We're off next week, unfortunately. I know you will be crying yourself to sleep, as we will. But we'll be back the following week, barring anything traumatic and crazy.
We need a break.
Yes, and so do you probably from us. This has been your Dumpster Fire for the week of January 16th to January 22nd. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make us